The game is called Enslaved, and it's set 150 years in the future. It's a post-apocalyptic game, yes, I know, but there's no greys or browns in it. We actually imagine what the world would be like without people, or very few people, and we figured it would be totally beautiful. There are two characters that are alive, one of which is Monkey, this lone survivalist, brute who lives out in the wild, and the other one's Trip, who's like, she's from a hippie commune, if you like. Basically what happens is, and Monkey and Trip are both prisoners on this slave ship at the start of the game, and Monkey, Trip, uses her technology to break free and kind of cause the ship to crash land. And when they land, Monkey's unconscious, and Trip grabs a slave headband that she finds on the ship, sticks it on his head, and reprograms it so that Monkey has to do what she says. And that's the setup for the story. Take me home and I'll set you free, she says. So you play Monkey, and Monkey's the fighter. He's got a staff, which is his main weapon, and with that he's got a full combat system. Trip has nothing, and she's the secondary character, but you don't play her. She looks after herself as far as she can, and you can give her commands to help you. You can tell her, for example, to scan the area for enemies, and she'll mark out all the threats, and you can ask her to kind of create a holographic decoy which will draw fire of enemies while you run, kind of try and flank them. And it's this combination of kind of pure brute strength which you play, and her kind of tech savvy that kind of creates this interesting gameplay dichotomy, if you like, where you can't be the superhero and just run in all guns blazing all the time, because you've got to figure out how to get her through. And that means that the game becomes far more tactical than your average action game. And I guess it's because, like, in the old days, I think games actually were a lot harder than they are now. And somehow the challenge has been drawn out of games, and this is a real gamer's game where you have to use your brains as well as your brawn. We've taken stock of everything we learned on Heavenly Sword and tried to improve on everything and make it a real holistic experience, so that whereas you had in Heavenly Sword, you had cutscenes for story, you had fighting for gameplay, you had kind of quick time events and mini game sections. Now you don't have any of that, because it's all one experience. The story's told throughout the gameplay and the cutscenes, so even through body language you can tell where Trip is at emotionally throughout the game. The cutscene characters and the in-game characters are the same model, so we can cut in even when Monkey's beating up robots and ripping off their heads. You can cut into his face and see his facial expression, cut straight back out, whereas we couldn't do that before. The journey itself, the journey west, it's a character journey as well as a physical journey. So as they progress, Monkey learns to rely more on Trip, that she is actually really useful and helpful, and she teaches him things that a loner wouldn't know about. And equally, Monkey kind of teaches her confidence, and she teaches her that the world isn't idealistic, and you do have to look after yourself sometimes, and you can use your emotions to your advantage. And the game is called Enslaved: Odyssey to the West for Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, and it'll be out late 2010.